Hello subscribers, just want to touch base with you and produce a video for you right quick. It's been a minute since I actually posted one on this channel. Was in the midst of working on a black culture and behavior book and got kind of backtracked on posting my videos for you guys. And by the way, the name of the black behavior and culture book is But Hey, What Do I Know? You can purchase it at that website of the same name, buthheywhatdoiknow.com. It's also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Just want to talk to you briefly today about secrets of success. And just to let you know, there are no secrets to success. And Russell Conwell said in his book, Acres of Diamonds, written a long time ago, and Russell Conwell, if I'm not mistaken, helped found Temple University over in Philadelphia. But he said in the book, Acre of Diamonds, that the world owes a man nothing that he doesn't earn. And you know, there are no secrets to success. You know, it may seem to be, but each and every achiever has actually followed a certain set of rules and principles that govern and produce success that they've achieved. And it's no hereditary, no environment, or any other man-made obstacle that will actually keep us from success. Yeah, we have some roadblocks from time to time, but for the most part, if you do the things that produce success, it's going to produce success. And you know, one of my favorite figures from history is Booker T. Washington. And anybody that knows me knows I love Booker T. Washington's readings and teachings and his philosophy. And he actually said, if you do something better, the world will be the path to your door to patronize you. And we must be determined to reach for our goals and dreams. We must have a determination to accomplish. I mean, one of the saddest things is actually talking to a person who has no ambition. And whenever we've set a goal and then we become determined to accomplish that goal, we actually start to see opportunities that were not there before. Well, they were there, we just didn't know how to recognize them. Because, for the simple fact, we weren't looking for them. Our mental focus starts to shift. Our goals' antenna start to go up a little bit more. Obstacles that have always been in the way tend not to bother us as much anymore, because we become determined not to allow those obstacles to sidetrack or distract us. We've all heard the statement, where there's a will, there's a way. And the question one has to ask him or herself is, how strong is my will? If the will is not strong, the way doesn't matter. You know, I've heard it put another way said, you know, when you talk to people about doing something better with their lives, the question they always want to ask is, well, how do I go about doing that? And that's the wrong question. The question that they should be asking is, why would I need to do that? Because if you don't have a why about improving your life, nothing that's going to be presented to you is going to matter. And that causes the problem. That's the problem within each one of us. And many in society actually lack the willpower to even entertain a way to accomplish their dreams and goals. They've decided on a settle for life or a settle for existence. They settle for what they already have. You know, Colonel Sanders, you know, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders was in his 60s, his late 60s at that, before Kentucky Fried Chicken actually paid off for him. What's your excuse? What's my excuse? Have you ever taken a moment to really dream? And I don't mean daydreaming and, you know, dreaming while you're taking a nap or dreaming while you're sleeping at night. I mean dream about a better life for you, for your kids, for your spouse, for your family, for your neighborhood, for your community. That's what I'm talking about, dreaming. You know, are you totally happy with everything that's going on in your life? That's the type of dreaming that I'm talking about. can you see something bigger than yourself? I remember one of my favorite lines is from the movie The Temptations. When Melvin, the baritone, was sitting with the doctor, and the doctor told him he needed to give his legs a rest. And Melvin asked the doctor a profound question. He said, "Doc, have you ever been part of something bigger than yourself?" And so, if there were no limits on your income or your time, what would you spend each day doing? Do you like to travel? Where would you go? Who out there would you like to help? Because we all know people who have needs. What cause or causes could you dedicate yourself to? What could you do with your family and loved ones if you didn't have any financial and time restraints? Many of us in society have never taken a self-inventory to see what life is really calling us to do. The old adage, go to school to secure a job long term, is actually outdated now. And we see that with all of these college graduates that are working in the fields outside of their degree plan. I actually just read an article this morning, a young lady saying she has a master's degree and can't find a job. So that means that system's not working like it used to. And the reason it's not working is because we went from the old agrarian society to the industrial age society, which told us we needed to go into schooling and degrees and work for corporations. And now we're in an information and technology era, and we're still promoting industrial age ideas. So that doesn't work anymore, you know, for most of society, although society is still promoting it. I had a conversation with a 13-year-old one day, and we were talking about world geography and history. And she actually asked me how I knew this stuff. And I told her we had to learn it in school. And her response to me was, they don't teach us anything. Now, if a 13-year-old recognizes that, what's wrong with us as adults? I'm going to tell you. We've been bamboozled. We've been indoctrinated. We've been taught to limit our thinking and what to reach for in life. We've been taught not to dream. We've been taught not to set goals outside of school. And that's what our problem is. And many of us are around here waiting on favorable conditions, whatever those are going to be. I'm going to tell you, the most favorable position you're going to be in is the one you're in right now, especially if you're healthy. You know, you don't want to wait 10, 15, 20, 30 years waiting on conditions to become favorable. They'll never be more favorable than they are right now. You know, because 10 years go down the road, 15 years down the road, then you'll be saying, I should have did this 15 years ago. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us. I mean, I lost my grandmother a few months ago in a head-on car collision. She died. My cousin survived. The young man who veered out of his lane coming from the opposite direction survived. You know, I had just talked to my grandmother and had a long conversation with her 2 days before this incident happened. So tomorrow's not promised to us, and we need to keep that in mind. You know, when we sit here and wait on tomorrow, we're saying, okay, I'm going to put my dreams and goals on hold again. And we're still waiting for favorable conditions. Our ideas are actually useless as long as we keep them in our minds. Holding ideas in our mind would never produce results. You know, ideas never die. It's just a matter of who's going to take advantage of the idea. Is it going to be you or is it going to be somebody else? So don't die with your idea still inside of you. One of the most dangerous places we can be in life is when we think we're already doing good enough. And as I heard one guy say, I went to a seminar years ago, he said, you're doing good enough compared to who? He said, if you really want to know if you do well, he say, sit down and talk to somebody that makes in a month what it takes you a year to make, and then ask yourself, are you really doing that good? You know what I mean? we can take that either way. You know, we can get upset or we can get motivated. And a lot of times if we get upset, a lot of times we accomplish more when our motivation is anger ridden, you know. So, but we can't let others set the bar for our life and our accomplishment, because they're going to always set the bar of accomplishment too low for us. You know, I've been doing a lot of reading, some success books from the early 20th century. Right now I'm reading a book that was written in 1919. The week before that, I read a book that was written in 1908. And there's something that I'm picking up in these books that are different from the success books that are being written today. These guys actually had a totally different thought process of what success looked like back then compared to what we see success as today. And most of their success is totally in the mind. And they're talking about, and I'm not sure if these guys knew each other, but both of them in different ways said part of the problem we're dealing with in society is we're trying to compete with others. And say we weren't built to compete when we're trying to do things. We were built to create things. And say once we move from that competitive spirit to a creative spirit, then things are going to move in a lot better direction for us. So if there's excellence left to be attained in our lives, good enough just doesn't cut it. And each one of us knows it. The greatest detriment to our future success is our last accomplishment, our last achievement. Because a lot of times we sit there and we keep replaying that achievement in our mind. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, taking a little time and saying, you know, I accomplished this, I did this. But a lot of times many people will sit there and they'll keep going over and over again. And you want me to tell you how I know that's true? Because how many times have we heard people say, remember the good old days? So we need to go ahead and strive for our next goal. You know, we need to have another goal already set when we accomplish one. And so too many of us actually settle and live our lives based on our past successes, and instead of getting ready to reach new goals. And so how do you know if you fit right there? What are your thoughts about your future, your past, and your present?